Stories are made, legends forged in blood and steel, myths and folklore woven from time itself, and I wander the celestial skies. We create everything and everyone, gods, the people, and all the monsters.
My lord!
I wonder. Heads for woe, tails for good. I guess by the tenor of his pitch, it's all ill.
Indeed, lord, there is a slight tremor. My lord, let not my words cast me from your love.
A true and faithful servant.
My lord, they come, all thieves, pouring towards us, a sea of humanity.
I told you the news is ill. I dare say it won't be fatal, not quite yet. Go to the highest point, wait for Creon. Students and priests on my doorstep, shadows of nobility in the church. Do you think we have much to fear?
The elders fear empty coffers. The students are filled with youthful righteousness bound to burn out if work is involved.
I think, Father, we need to listen and judge them not for fearing.
Antigone, any other child of mine wouldn't even waste their time with these matters of state.
It is the very curse to my own fate that I must be my father's child.
Do you see, my friends, how quick my daughter responds to every quip?
I think Antigone perhaps has a wisdom that will serve us for years to come.
You heard the news, I presume?
A mob of nobility and senility come to us with hands outstretched.
It won't be long before they try to storm our palace walls.
In their hands are meager offerings, of little worth to anyone, let alone the gods.
What price is a crown? It's a king's ransom, didn't you hear? I love this state like a native son, despite the calls behind my back. A foreign prince, a gilded immigrant, not one of us, no true Theban.
More noble than all of Thebes, city and state. Ignore their words and bend not to their threats.
Zeus's blood. What's that smell? 1,000 drains? No, fear from every pore. You think me callous, unfeeling, stone-hearted? Empathy is a dangerous quality, at least when you're in my position. Friends, fellow people of Thebes, why do you kneel? Stand up, loyal citizens, and open your hearts to me. Your king, your Oedipus, brother in state. I see the offerings in your hands, and I wake to the scent of 1,000 prayers. Tell me how I could best serve all Thebes, find a way to bring ease to your suffering. Talk to me, tell me, what brings you here? Crowding my steps, stragglers washed ashore by this dark storm that has struck our land. Come, off your knees, let me take your hand. We're all Thebans.
Oedipus, king, lord, dread sovereign, you see us as we are, fresh-faced youth to those almost at the edge of the grave, a glimpse of what's left of scholars and society. Outside, the people, struck by fear, loss, and anger, they crowd the temples, the marketplaces, lashing out in protest, demanding help, seeking sanctuary from the visible and invisible. The young, old, healthy, and infirm, all grasped by this unseen hand of famine and plague. Horror, suffering, entwined in death and despair. Our city stands on the edge of total ruin, bankrupted by this unseen ghoul, spawn of Hades.
We come to you, mighty sovereign, dread king, first among men, savior of Thebes. We make this pilgrimage to your gates and home, to ask the man who saved us once before to rescue us once again from destruction. Before there was the Sphinx and her dread tyranny, which you swept away like swatting a fly. But now, we wonder.
I wonder what? You'd think they could come with a plan. Instead, lamentations and complaints, and hope that it will be a balm to their open wounds.
But now we wonder, O dread prince.
Perhaps you wander with your wonder.
But now we wonder, are you here to see our end? Are you more God than man to let us perish in the ashes of the city?
A city that I saved, rebuilt from ruin. I brought great wealth.
But now you deny our cries and fail to see our suffering? We are cursed from above and within. Our city is dying. We are torn apart, inside and out. We do not hear from you, not a word. We do not see you. We look, we cry, and all the while you stay high on the hill. Perhaps you mean to thin the herd? Turn Thebes into a wasteland? Rebuild your legacy in another form?
Do I look like a fool in these robes of state? Have I all caused you all such wrongs? How is it in crisis? Leaders get all the blame, but when it's all sunshines and rainbows, then it's all as you deserve, and rightly so! How many times have you shared your tables with the poor, the homeless, the sick and unemployed? Your strategy is for money and advancement. You say I've done nothing for the people. I'm the one who feeds the people in sickness and in health. Enough. No more justifications. You want to hear my plan? Creon, my sister by my wife, has gone to the oracle seeking new information to bring new light upon our dark. After her report, we will all act in turn. All will obey.
My lord, I see the signal from the hill. Our Lady Creon is on her way.
Her timing's impeccable. Creon, your arrival is as welcome as the dawn.
May your lord still think that after I speak.
Come, what says the oracle? What says Apollo?
Would my lord hear it here or inside the walls?
Speak. Let's have all here, rather than risk more accusations and treasonous libel.
My lord, we meant... Do you fear the oracle's news?
No,
Then let your better speak, and you hold your tongue. I see things haven't improved since last I left. Then, my brother, I'll be brief and to the point. Apollo...
Oh, mighty
Apollo.
Great Apollo.
Blessed be Apollo. Well, quite. And all-knowing while we are at it. Public disclosure always proves problematic.
Speak. Do you have an insight into what ails Thebes?
I'll confess. On first hearing, I was confused.
But can you now share its meaning?
Sadly, no. Only a message learned by heart.
You'd think your delay was to spare our pain?
No, only that these words will bring no comfort.
The
This
rotten
rotten plague
that grips
that
our
grips
land,
our land,
divides our
divides
people,
order, laws, and ways,
caused by murder, bloody and
bloody,
foul.
foul.
I asked for an answer, not a poetic instruction. Forgive me, sister. It's been a long day.
King Phoebus!
Phoebus!
Almighty
Phoebus!
Phoebus!
May we
May we
all
all be blessed by thee.
Mighty Apollo,
all-wise,
all-knowing,
merciful.
Merciful? How merciful can a god be to blight his people?
Careful, brother! The god Apollo seems to have his reasons. Don't throw caution to the wind and tilt to the gods.
Then tell us what you know and be straight.
The pestilence that infects us all,
which infects
through
us
famine,
all through
disease,
famine,
and
disease,
strife,
and
must be
strife
cut from us like cancer. There must be no
There must be
hiding
no
place
hiding
or refuge
place
for the
or refuge
perpetrators
for the
of a hideous
perpetrators
crime.
of a hideous crime.
What crime? What refuge? The punishment will be swift.
Good, for it must be that death equals death, or deportation far from our borders.
Be they common criminal, terrorist, or insurgent, I'll be swift with justice if I know the crime.
Our former king was bloodily dispatched, and now the gods demand his revenge.
Go on. Be plain. I'll say this for Creon. She loves her own voice. The sense of the dramatic, it'd be fair to say.
Here, in Thebes, says Apollo, lies the killer.
We'll stew in the pits of pestilence till we purge the evil from our shores. Who seeks shall find,
and who
blind.
sits shall be blind. I often wonder if the oracle speaks the spoken or takes bold poetic license with disclosure.
Details, details. Where the place? On heath, at home, far or near?
On the road to Delphi, there he met his fate.
That's all you know? He vanished without a trace.
All were slain, save one, and that's a fact. On a crossroads heading to the oracle, Laius wanted answers for the Sphinx.
On the road to Delphi, a man, all others slain. There's a memory, It can't be. Would the gods be so cruel? What of the survivor? Was there a story, a report? Did he lose his tongue? Was he maimed, struck silent?
A band of thieves swept down and killed our king.
Oh, confess that's welcome news. Why didn't you look into this at the time?
The Sphinx was holding us in her grasp. Now, our lack of care for his death leaves us in the grip of famine and despair. I had hoped the past was past. I'm a poor prince to play this part.
Tying up loose ends should come first, but running the state gets in the way. Know that I shall find the killers of Laius, revenge the murderers of his retinue. We'll send for the survivor of that day, and the criminals will answer for their crime. Away, lift up your heads and hearts. Bring comfort to the people of the state. Prove your nobility in the face of adversity, and hope you will all learn from these days of woe.
Follow me and let's heed his words. Share the news and pray relief will be here soon.
Why do those in power assume victory
In the face of such adversity,
To solve the issues of state so easily,
whilst the common people suffer miserably?
we want justice like the rest.
We want justice like the rest. We want justice like the rest. We want justice like the rest.
too long have we held our tongue, enduring the status quo of rank and nobility.
Holding their sovereign sway. And where did this spring from?
By what law or edict must we abide to suffer in silence?
No more. Let our voices cry out. There will be no peace without justice. Come, we must pull together as one.
Lift our voices to the gods.
Offer our hearts and call out.
Lift
Gifts to the altars and ask for celestial blessing and hope that tomorrow will be better than today. We have nothing left to give. Our hopes are washed away. The lights have gone out. Our children die in their beds. Nothing is left. Our tables are bare.
Come, let's storm the palace gates, seek out Oedipus.
And all his retinue.
What's a little more bloodshed spilled in the state of Thebes?
There was a time before our youth
Had stepped into the light of the world when the Sphinx had brought despair.
Destruction and every means of death. Now
Now
the sound of weeping.
from dawn to dusk and through the night lasts like a litany of eternal prayer.
We suffered then as we do now. Our homes reeked with our parents' rotting flesh waiting to expire, whilst the nobles closed their doors. The priests burned offerings that brought not an ounce of hope. And we hung on, praying that someone would deliver us from the riddles and curses of that winged demon, gilded with our visitors' flesh.
So all the Thebes hung behind whatever type of barricade they could build or find.
We waited for help. We prayed for aid. We died. We lived in death, in disgust.
Lost. They were lost. And
One
so one
morning,
morning, on the ridge, above the city gate, came a rider.
A foreigner, young and bold.
And brave.
A stranger,
A foreigner.
A foreigner.
a foreigner.
And we needed help.
Needed a sign.
Needed a hero.
Reluctant acceptance, I seem to recall. I wonder if you regret my coming at all.
We didn't mean to offend.
No offense taken at all.
You sit as king, that's a fact.
When you step up to the parapet, death or victory is up for grabs.
And rightly so, you won your spurs.
Crowns, place, spurs, what's the use? My people with no support. Come, hear my decree and know that what I say applies to all, even me, your loyal servant and king.
Does he mean it, do you think?
We haven't time to doubt.
But can you trust him?
You've no other choice. If the immigrant fails, we'll soon see.
People of Thebes, hear me, I pray. Heed my words and help me seek justice for the foul crime of Laius. We have been torn apart by pestilence, taken into the grip of panic and strife. Rumor has swept us into a frenzy. As the bodies pile high, blame is cast around like pebbles on a shore. To tell the truth, I'm a little concerned. They're angry, rightly so, and if in their place, I'd be a little concerned as well. I was a stranger to your state, a foreigner you'd taken to your hearts. I dispatched the Sphinx. It was blessed with the position, wife, home, and the position of rank. It's true all of this belonged to Laius, and the fact it was all by his death does not sit well with me, my friends. I'd be even more concerned if the report had talked of just one man. So, hear my commands and help me resolve this terrible crime.
Let it be proclaimed through the state that Laius, son of Labdacus, was slain. If any know of his killer, or the one that fled the terrible murder on the roads to Delphi, confess to Oedipus Rex. Confess what they know of this heinous crime. Even if, with bloody hands, you took part, death you shall escape, and for punishment, banished for life from our state. But no, if no one come forward, and we find out whoever you may be, you, then you'll wish yourself had never been born. Harbor or hide, you'll also face that fate. Before all our gods, may your fate be the flinty path to nowhere. May sulfur fill your lungs as you tread upon the road with no salvation at the end. Curse on you and all you hold dear. This vow was made on all members of state.
Can this be so? A leader to pour such a curse on us all.
On his own head as well.
On his own head, we heard.
Words, my friends, only words.
Words will always catch us in the end. You heard the curse on all it is made.
Father,
Yes?
I wonder if Holy Apollo could lift the secret of their riddle?
Who can force a god to speak plainly? Of course, I'd love it if they could.
May I then speak plain and offer a thought to perhaps bring hope?
A suggestion, of course. It's been a long day. I thought our solution.
Then, what if we seek our Tiresias?
Command's already made. Our old friend will soon be here. Smile, daughter. For the love of Zeus, must we be downcast eternally? The marketway looks like a gangway to a slaughterhouse. Various stages of bowel movements reek the air, and I can hear some sniffles at the back, weeping like calves before the blade or bolt. Some closure to us all. I'm not too disposed either way. But dear Apollo, that's all I pray, with humble thanks.
Do you care, Lord? Can you hold us all in that heart of yours and really care? High on this hill, you're more like a god looking down on his worker ants as we scurry to and fro. Could you really give a damn?
Enough! You'll throw insults at me and I must do what? Suck it and see? You ask with one hand and threaten with the other? What's that expression? Walk a day in another man's shoes? But I don't see you handing alms to the poor, or waiting by tables, or shoveling the debris and dirt from our streets.
Let's in, Lord, until the old seer is here.
It's poor versus poor. At least that's in store. Rich and educated divide across ranks, based on sides that were set in stone so long ago.
I woke today with some trepidation. It's funny to be an old man and still held to account by all matters of rule. From men and gods, saints and sinners, you would think after all this time I'd be used to such demands. After all, I've been three genders, sighted and sightless, and that's a fact. Speaking only truth and branded a liar.
I'm not here, sir, to understand matters such far beyond my youth.
No? How pleasant such words, a mild humility from such sweet youth. It never ceases to amaze me. Let's hope your future has a chance.
I wonder sometimes where it went wrong.
How refreshing honesty comes. How sad innocence fades with age.
Was that all the oracle shared? No other meaning, no other phrase.
What would you like, dear sister? A full breakdown from dawn to dinner. The murderer of Laius needs justice.
blood for blood, eye for eye, and all that.
At a time with thieves on its knees, siblings can still find time to squabble.
Do you admonish your old queen?
Admonish, no. Perhaps amuse my queen, whose beauty shines as bright as in when I first caught your eye.
The old Corinthian Cupid has returned, I see.
My lord! He's here!
I thought he was blind, not lame.
My lord, I don't quite follow.
He's late, or does immediately mean something else from where you're from?
Immediately might depend on how you look at space and time, or the miles between your home and mine.
Old man, you might be many things, elder statesman, and whatever title the populace lay upon your head. When I call, it might suit to add a little more haste in your heel.
Lord, I'm an old man, haste I fear. Left me long ago in a time when I fled a wooing Zeus, as the fairest maiden he has ever seen.
Forgive me. The crisis had made me forget that you are no ordinary elder.
Well, if the peasantries are done, I might excuse myself to address other matters of this great state. Husband, be kind to this old man. Tiresias, I do this favor, but mark, you still talk to a king.
Creon, might I ask you to tend to the people? Call the elders to hear our friend's words. Old friend, forgive my impatience and rude demands that called you away from all your other business.
I pray it's not the calm before the storm.
Let's pray that's not the case.
You call me to answer for the death of your old predecessor, yes?
You're the most trusted elder that we have and hold in high esteem. I ask only what you must know and beg you to hold nothing back. Thebes is on fire within and without, and I must extinguish the blaze before we're all consumed in hellish flames.
I'd rather you send me home from here. They say that time cures all ills, though I suspect that's not quite true.
Do I presume you know the ill which afflicts our land and the people?
To share what I know would only bring more pain on the house of Laius.
I know what you might think. Why pressure this old man? Well, put yourself in my shoes. Wait there, old man, I'll bring you fire. I'll help you fan this bright blaze. And as the children run from their doors, I'll cut their throats as you knock them down. Because that would be kindness instead of this plague which strikes unseen.
I think enough blood has been shed by the hands of the house of Laius, and indeed the plague that falls on us all.
Nah, he speaks, and in riddles too. Well, if riddles were your thing, why didn't you solve that as a sphinx? What a shame I came along, this foolish immigrant from out of state!
Work, youth, like what love must do. Love that tears my old heart. Love for a family right from the start. And never ceases to amaze me, this gift of blindness, where my very eyes could see this prophecy spread in all of its glory. I ripped the very orbs from my very skull.
Riddle me no more, and curse be you, if you speak, unless to share what befell of Laius and his band.
Words vanish, but actions last past the grave, recording for all time and lasting legacy. What if it were you that welded the blade, or worse, close to Laius than sharing his wife?
Dear lords, and all that's holy, must I hear more? Is it your affliction which hardens your heart? Are you so blind that your senses are now dark? Am I now cursed to solve your riddles and chase ghosts in decades-long murder? Is this my fate, to clean up every curse of Thebes?
Speak of sight, curses, and lies. It's just on the wrong level that you, for once, your right fate plays a part in all these travesties involving you. Don't ignore your edicts, orders, and decrees.
Enough, no more. Leave me now, or what little senses you have left, I'll rip them out, one by one. You'll wish you were back in another form. Apollo this and Zeus that. It's all a game played by gods and their intermediaries.
Hear me, thieves, and mark these words. Too often good men are taken by the throne. It's a fine line between the golden gifts of heaven or Hades. Sweet temptations. Sometimes it's written in the stars, or dragged into form from clay. Sometimes mother and father leave their son alone on a hill to the beasts of night. We choose our path. Some to the high ground, others look for soft sand by the shore. Can you change your fate with simple words, kind actions, A merciful heart? Well, mark me, thieves. Our fates are cast long ago. Actions make it set in stone.
Set in stone by what, I'd like to know?
Talk of family and love is lost on me, I fear.
What of order and the final result?
I fear it's all gone past the point.
Who's left to care or give a damn?
What will the people say about the state of affairs?
How will it affect the state of affairs more likely? Oh, don't give me that look. I only state the truth.
But do we have to share it publicly? Keep the secrets of state far from scrutiny.
For if the people get wind of it, things will change.
What will change? What will they catch on the wind? No, don't be startled. You're afraid. Rightly so. Thieves is falling apart, and your coffers will be next.
We only wonder.
There's that word again. Wonder. Is everyone a magician?
We are concerned if the people get word of Tiresias's transgressions, what they might think.
Let them think what they like. We'll have it sorted by then.
My lord.
What do you suggest?
Might we ask?
Perhaps, if you'd like to keep your places, you might like to lend a hand, if you know what I mean. A little favor, that's all I ask. Would it be so bad? You look like I asked to kill your mother, and who knows, that might come next, if she's lying in pain, wasting away, because we didn't get that old fraud to tell the truth when he had the chance. I'll leave it to you. Let action take its course.
What does he mean?
Don't be naive.
This isn't Thebes, not anymore.
Still, what choice do we have?
All we can do is ask a question or two.
A polite exchange.
And if she doesn't talk?
We did it for thieves.
Still no word while our parents lie dying? Our children wasting before our very eyes. Skeletal shapes and distended bellies. Frozen expressions of fear and confusion. And still, we hear only chaos from high on the hill.
We must keep our faith in our senses.
Will it be our epitaph? Oops, sorry we panicked.
The epitome of good societies, how to handle
Both the highs and the lows, and especially in a crisis.
Are we sure we know what we're looking for? Can we not dig a little deeper into the murder? Answers are needed. Problems must be solved. No one is above the law, no matter the rank.
Did no one ask the prophet for a little more, how should we say, facts, details, or the plain truth? I know my own sweet firstborn was doomed by a whim. Antigone, don't look at me. I know you've heard the rumors. Gossips loved by all, evil wrapped in velvet. Riddles come in every form shared, with a whispered lie. And it's over, like that. Why do the great ones get damned, and the lesser ones, it seems, pick the gold and gild from the carcass? A little more empathy in all matters of state. Would that be so impossible to ask or plead?
Mother, I don't think it's a simple answer.
You will be queen one day. And if I have it my way, it won't be through some marriage to a distant prince. Don't look so shocked. Great queens can rule. Look at Hippolyta, a mighty monarch. This world is not just for men.
Not even Hippolyta, that fair bronze warrior.
She had the tribe of the Amazons beside her. You have two brothers with no sense. And poor Ismene, afraid of her own shadow. I fear, Antigone, you will have much to do.
And still rule Thebes in her concerns?
Ruling is one thing, family quite the other. A queen can solve problems with velvet glove or iron fist according to the situation. With family, I confess I'm confused. Laying down the law leads to division. Never able to love quite enough. Everyone wanting just that little bit more.
Perhaps we should try to love our people.
What an interesting idea. But with age, that will fade.
Where is he? Where is your little shopkeeper? That great son of Corin dares to think he can ignore our ways and customs, defile no less our own prophet, insults our elders, and speaks for all of Thebes as if he has our blood, our birth, our place in this great state.
I often wonder what life would look like if we had more doors about this place.
Forgive me, sister. Pressing matters of state have, shall we say, overlooked polite protocols and pleasantries.
If that's the case, perhaps it is I who should take this moment to point out that if you wish to enforce order, you yourself should look to follow the same rules you instigate.
Antigone, I do not wish to break rules or laws of Thebes, but walk through the streets of our city. Gaze upon the pyres, sacred fires of the dead. Does it please the gods to have their ashes flood Olympus, turning columns to sooty stacks? Our people are dying where they stand.
When have you ever cared about the people?
Enough. Where is your husband?
My husband and your king.
Not for much longer if he plays his games.
That, my girl, walks one who I swear lives in a world with no joy, only thieves. Enough, no more. Let's leave before a fall.
You think I enjoy this duty? I never asked for the title or the trappings, especially when I do all of the work and get none of the reward.
Is this how you wish to be remembered? Blind to what you see and deaf to what you hear? I heard the doves cry and the wolves howl. Life like nature is cursed by beauty and spite.
Justice is all I seek, peace all I ask. Why must eternal I love to hate?
Oh, Zeus, help me now. Or will you once again leave me as when Hera cursed me years ago? Damn me into unimagined darkness, left to hear the cries of beasts to false blessing. Do you curse me or will you save me?
It seems he is forever stuck high above.
Immigrant you may be, but heretic surely not.
No, I see whose side you're on. It's true. I am the foreigner, never quite part of this city-state. So let me be frank and to the point. Know that I will root out the truth.
I fear the truth will only mark your end.
Speak it, and I will be merciful. I swear.
You are the one you seek. There, I said it. You who are fatherless and fathered, motherless and united by mother, sinned against and damned in sin by parents who abandoned you long ago.
Why can you not speak the truth? How can one born of deity be so cruel? For now I see beyond those glassy eyes all that I should ever fear, jealousy and hate. Behold, people of thieves, is this your prophet? Come, people of thieves, tell me what you know.
Ah! This what it sounds like when the doves cry?
Are we caught in damnation for our betters?
Are we cowards to watch helpless?
As our own Tiresias was so richly abused?
Our oracle, since the days of Cadmus.
Our prophet who walked with the gods.
Blessed and cursed by deities is one thing.
By a man, a foreigner, a king? Let's face it, not quite the same thing.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Heavy is the heart that lies in his breast. Heavy
Heavy
are
is
the
the burden
corpses
that-
in our beds.
Heavy is the
Heavy
burden that
weighs
weighs
us
us all.
Where's the light? Where's the light?
Where are the gods when you need them most?
Where are our leaders when our needs cry out?
Where is justice?
Where is equality?
Where is peace? Where is the sense? Where is the cure?
Cure? You talk of cures. There's only one cure to all our wounds.
We must root out the traitors who killed Laius. Seek them out from sea to high hill, the wooded glades, olive groves, and every vine in between.
You ask for justice. Have I not been just and fair? Was it not I that lifted the curse of the Sphinx? Did I not bring a new dawn to all of thieves? Then the moment we face adversity, you call to question my authority. Have you sided with Creon?
Lord, we are on your side.
Lord, as you have been with us.
We are here for you.
I'd rather a rat gnaw on my scars than you creep around me, the snakes and toads you are. Ah, here she is, just in time, the leader of the hour. Welcome to our little affair and small soiree. How kind you finally deigned to join us.
I heard you were feeling in a rather odd mood. You've insulted priests, abused the people, and committed a worse sin of all. Our prophet, Tiresias, you've betrayed, belittled, bullied, dragged both name and body through the mud. What's next, I wonder? That's all I ask.
Insults? Shall we trade a comment or two? You excel in nasty, witty, petty phrases. You've dropped your wicked little lies like a trail of dosed breadcrumbs, poisoning the people against me. Come, do you wish to sling slanders, abuse, or shall we share blow, fist, or sword, and let this audience cheer their champion?
Fight to the last breath! What a fitting testimony to the love of family and our legacy. A warning to every sibling through the ages that death follows jealousy, foolish feuds, and they shall say, what a waste of love was spent on old ungrateful Oedipus.
Wasted love? Have I not held you as an equal? Have I not given you everything you've asked? When I was crowned, did I not reach out this hand to you, my freshly minted sister, palm open in friendship and in love? This hand which could have sent you eternally great, like many a king looking to rid every threat.
Yes, and by your own words in front of friends, you damn yourself with this argument.
Ever the politician swift with a rebuttal.
How holy speaks the high-born hypocrite.
Come, sister, let's settle the matter now. At least I'll see the blows as they come, rather than wait for a sharp, nasty surprise.
Dear friends, you hear this man before you, a rambling fool ready to lash out. For fear of what, might one ask? What's my crime, my mistake? The treason charge laid before my feet?
Treason? Let's be frank, get a charge or two.
Have you gone mad in your own power?
It's catching like the plague.
What have I done but served as you asked?
The people turned against me. The blind old man cursed me in riddles. What's next? I'll bear no more.
Then take your blade and pierce my breast. Or banish me, and like you, a foreigner forever exiled. Come, little shopkeeper prince, deliver my fate. That's all I ask.
Is this what's left of family? Will my children bear awful witness to the future of the world and Greece? Let's be adults and establish the facts.
The simple truth is that your sister lies. She's colluded with Tiresias and who knows else.
Must I endure all these slights and accusations? I'll take my leave before profanity poisons my sister's ear and offends the good of Thebes.
How act like any traitor to run before the truth.
Traitor, your sister, most loyal subject.
Sister no longer, united only in hate.
How?
How?
I think that's what I said. How have you deemed her a traitor?
By her words and actions in front of our venerated leaders of city and state. Speak! Go on! Speak! Damn you, speak! Open your mouths, you leaders of thieves!
Have you quite lost your mind or your soul? To be at the point where all of Thebes now lives in fear. The promise of your reign, golden example to Greece, now shattered. Exposed like a wreck, to be consumed, washed away, and purified by the sea of history. Dear husband, how has it come to this?
Madam permits me if I might offer a word. It is true our lord entered already fixed to settle an affair with Creon. Word said, threats made, and I feared blood would be shed.
Imagine at such a time we are in now that our leaders would turn against each other when you think it can't get much worse.
What's worse is when we fail to do our part in the affairs of state and watch happily as the travesty plays out before us.
Is it my lot to be the only one who can bring sense? But come, speak what reason, what action did my sister take to cause such anger?
You asked the question, so I will answer. For mark, thieves, the queen bids me speak. Your sister colluded with that old prophet. I was accused of such sins that would make you blush.
Have we been married all these years, and still you seek to save me from blushing? You think I'm some newlywed wife, as innocent as a little lamb in spring? Come, you found me widow to a king, and I have borne more pain than you imagine.
Blushes no, but I would seek some peace among all this noise, just for a moment. The people cry, the elders whimper, and Creon casts spells and colludes with old Tiresias.
What's the charge?
That I killed Laius. That's just for starters. So I snapped on your prophet and your sister, threatened, and I'd have done more if you'd not intervened.
Let's inside
And I will tell you of the ambush. Laius was killed by a band of thieves who left one and fled the scene and returned here to Thebes shortly before you yourself arrived and saved us from the horrors of the winged sphinx.
What of the prophet? Perhaps she's to blame?
She was taken as a gift to appease Apollo, a priestess of Artemis. She begged to return to her order. How could I deny her a second chance as we had just been granted deliverance from the horrors of the Sphinx?
I wonder how much the terror of the Sphinx can compare to the strife now within our walls. She devoured those who try to set foot upon our land. But what of this chaos, disease, famine, the people calling out? And I'm here at this helm of this wreck.
Husband, if you really think Creon and Tiresias are at fault, let's talk of how they've come to make such an accusation as rash as this.
On the road to Delphi, Laius met his end. They say he lost it with a single blow, and his blood fell like rain upon the ground. Even before his grey temple lay upon the earth, the bandits quickly dispatched the rest, except one poor soul, a priestess of highest order, with feet as fleet as Hermes, racing home.
No one checked the story or asked a question.
The truth, of course, no one really cared to know.
Perhaps this is all our punishment, all our crime.
What must we pay for the death of kings?
Have we not paid enough is what we'd like to know.
Caught between the state and our own needs.
Washed upon the rocks of plague and pestilence.
The gods have abandoned us.
No, just our leaders.
Who can we turn to? Who will save us?
Here's a radical thought. Let's start with each other.
Together, we might find a way. Like a shipwrecked crew far from home. We could feel the wrath of the gods. Or worse, the capitulation of man. We'll stand firm, united. We have nothing to lose.
So, are we agreed?
It looks that way to me.
Quite sure?
No time for nerves.
No time at all.
Everything is falling apart.
The state, the people, and the king.
Indeed, our leader is on top of that list.
The pinnacle, you could insist.
But is there no other course of action?
What do you suggest?
We're done with that.
We must take action.
Firm and decisive.
But must we strike?
Explain?
Give reason.
We must have reason. And don't turn away. All I ask is we establish the facts, at least ones we can present to the people. Call it, if you like, a polite excuse for a bloody revolution.
No, I fear you've got carried away.
We don't want to give over to the populace.
A polite little coup.
A tiny little one at that.
No one has to die, you mean?
Now, we didn't say that.
But as long as it's necessary.
Well, quite, we're not Athenians.
They can't quite help themselves.
And the Spartans, even worse.
What will be, I suppose.
What will be, must be, and will be. Let's face it, fate's already decreed the outcome. We, the emissaries of what's ordained.
So this is Thebes. It's changed, and that's a fact. It was a happier place the last time, if I can recall, but so many cities, towns, states, they all roll into one. Only yesterday, I came across an old woman. Her head seemed to lack a strand of hair, and her dried, worn-out body reeked of death. So I did her a favor. It's often the way. What's the reason for my being here? After a while, one forgets the cause, let alone the place you happen to visit. Today's the day. How could one forget? A shame it might have been so different. But even at the start, it's all mapped out, and all that's left is your fate. The stars have yet to rise. The sun hangs on for dear life. How apt for the occasion. The smell of the grove, rosemary and pine, that flavor in the air that makes one long for sustenance and happy sleep. Can you hear the waves falling on the rocks? Sleep, my friend. I'll see you soon, between the dreams and the memories. Ah, life, a shame it's wasted on all of them.
look what the cat dragged in. Another mouth to feed. What's your name? Or has the cat got your tongue? After all, you look like proverbial ninth life. Here we go, people. Another foreigner looking for refuge. After all, we're thieves, always looking to bail out friends.
Dear Hermes, once I was blessed swift of foot. I could have outrun the lot. But now, out of retirement for what? Stoned by a crowd? Friends, forgive me. I am indeed a stranger to you all, though in my youth walked the high hills. But, just for a moment, let me ask, do you know the King of Thebes?
Do I know the King of Thebes? What's next? A quick how you do? Seriously, what's it all come to if we don't know?
I'm sorry. It's not exactly all going to plan. My queen died, shortly followed by the father. We're waiting on the future. Forgive me. That's in poor taste. But an hour with the leader, well, it might sort out a couple of questions. Such as what the hell will happen to Corinth? Seriously, people, back up. Give me some room. You think this is easy? Oedipus, your parents are dead. Time to crack on and help us out. Actually, parents, that's a loose phrase, more a slip of the tongue.
Come, friend, share the burden, and we might help.
Join us and share your tale. Just tell the truth. Or in the case of a foreigner, the weakness of a lie.
What would it be like to be the son of a farmer? I could have been a shepherd all this time, out on a distant hillside for almost a decade. Seriously, has it come to this? Random accusations, blames for a crime, based on nothing.
Father, what have you done to the old prophet?
I let him go. We have enough sin to carry, let alone another life on my list. I swear that's what would have passed if the old man had stayed locked in chains.
Why arrest him at all?
You can't let people make accusations of regicide and let them stroll away.
I thought you believed in the rule of law.
I do, hence why the old man was cast in chains.
What about the rights of us all? Freedom to think and speak our thoughts, beliefs, and ideas.
I don't seem to recall a regicide in riddles quite the same as speaking out on rights. What's next? Slanders of incest?
Father!
Forgive me. That's an old Corinthian joke used only for the tavern.
But you've let our prophet go?
Do you see he caused even a daughter doubt?
I merely asked to understand.
My father was never called to question, not even by fact. After all, I look nothing like it, not even on a good day. Still, no one spoke or passed comment. Do you think it was fear?
Father, they will come for you one way or another. Throwing Tiresias in chains offends Thebes, even if you have now let him on his way.
Ye gods bear witness, a child of Corinth speaks. See no word, no hot breath, no stones. Come on, what are you waiting for? Judgment?
Father, you mustn't joke in such a way.
Hey, listen, Antigone, do you hear the wind and fabric of lies on which you all stand? When the darkness falls, what will be left? Not even flesh and bone. Heavy is the burden.
What was it that forced you from Corinth?
Why do you ask?
You risked so much taking to the road. I've heard the stories, tall tales, they say.
They say what exactly?
Nothing.
Nothing? Don't be like the rest, Antigone. First time I saw you all red and raw, I never saw such beauty, spirit. A gift you were, no less from the gods.
I heard you came from Corinth on their cloud, that's all. Nothing much more than that.
The cloud, that's an understatement to say the least. Young, hot-headed, impulsive, passionate, in flight from prophecies and fatal actions, with bloody hands and scars newly forged from a skirmish on a road. I thought I knew it all for one moment. As the Sphinx sent her surprise, I did.
Was it a prophecy that made you flee your home?
Prophecy, well, that came later. But no, if only a tad. It was a rumor, a slur, that's all. But such a vile slight that I lost my temper, cut his throat open in a brawl for them all. As his blood blessed my blade, I was swept away. My father looked at me in such a gaze it tore my heart. But still indignant, proud, I defended the blow, called to the gods that the fool had slighted the king.
What did he say? Father, speak, I pray.
But I was no son of Corinth, not even a bastard.
For that you took his life. A few words?
Hide, youth, the fruit of the Cretan mind. It's a heady mixture one to bear, laughter and tears, brewed in a bottle and warmed by the sun. Still, no more of this, I pray. Spare your mother.
Husband, I beg you stay and get some rest. The priestess will come, share what she knows, confirm a band fell on Laius, and all will be restored.
Let's hope, my wife, for all our sakes, she tells the truth.
Antigone, what did he say? Come, spare no secrets.
As a daughter or future queen, would you have me speak?
I see the seed is planted and grown already. I bid you speak as daughter to loving mother.
Then my father told me a story, that is all.
A tale of gods and nymphs, or something more?
That between a father and daughter, as it should.
Antigone, please.
He fled Corinth. There was a murder, that's all.
That's all? In Corinth or somewhere else?
Corinth, a slight, he says, an insult of birth and parentage.
Is that all?
Yes, now please let me go. It is a burden to be her child, a princess trapped by fate.
So are you sure that's what they heard? A murder?
Zeus is my witness. A murder, a throat cut. He fled Corinth and appeared here at the door.
A murder? Do you think it's possible that he killed our king, somewhere on the road to Delphi?
No, my friend said it was in Corinth.
It's still a change. An accusation. Our state cries out for action.
Yes, but not insurrection.
Who's the old woman that looks ever so slightly lost?
Oh, for the gods, when gifts can pour from Olympus.
I wonder if you ever deign to talk sense.
It's her! It's her! Why stand so silent? Laius' woman? The one survivor from the day on the road?
What? Here? How can that be?
Her brother made a small fortune, dealing with Corinth.
I should have known. Everything traced back to that den of thieves.
Well, my friends, we must make plans. We'll wait outside when she leaves, and we'll politely make an introduction.
So this is how it stands. The elders plot not to save the people, but to maintain the status quo. They'll find a way, depose a king, but keep their place.
Politics at its finest. Whispers, half-truths. A little push here or there, that's all. If only they knew the truth.
Highness, I wouldn't say our days were done.
We have little time to think. It's time to act.
Highness, the mob. Cry out for answers. Cry for justice.
Where's my father? Have you heard?
He left a few hours ago looking for answers.
Answers? No one has an answer.
He never run, never flee.
You think not?
Why would he do such a thing?
Ladies, what shall I say to the mob? A handful hold them back.
Bring them in, but not a word beyond this room.
May I dispatch a few?
No, not that end.
As you say, I have few words for a rabble like this.
They say that when a leader ceases to care, one loses it all. Humanity, love, and even their soul. Now I fear on every corner, in every gutter. I will lose a little bit more till I'm empty. It's easier to have your heart in armor, sealed away from the agony of it all. With every corpse, my soul drains away. I hear their voices, crying out from the unturned grave, calling out, asking for help, and I failed them all.
Hail, friend, have you heard the news?
News? It's more a joyful rumor.
No, friend, have they found the killers of Laius?
Of a sort. It depends if you believe the gossip. Do you challenge the city elders?
Last I heard, you said they didn't know.
Their elbow from their rump.
I hate to break up the chat.
Sorry, friend.
Sorry, you won't be sorry for much longer.
Again, if we believe the rumor.
What's the news?
They say he's a killer.
Not just a, but the.
Only it.
You believe the rumor? Yes,
we know.
But it's a fact.
I must have lost my mind in the night, talking carrion, trading on lies.
You'll be sorry!
Not to hear.
The rumor! It's Oedipus, that's the killer!
Or rather, he's a killer.
With a strong suspicion that he did for Laius!
I hear the wolves calling. As I've heard them during my youth, the old wounds on my leg then ache, and I wait for the wolf's embrace.
You are the one you seek. There, I said it. You who are fatherless and father, motherless and united by mother, sinned against and damned in sin by parents who abandoned you long ago.
After the murder, I fled Corinth, the home I'd known all my life. And I ran to the oracle, feet bleeding, heart pounding. And instead of relief, poison poured into my ear.
From your hand will you cut down the tree, and you will start a new line. Sons will be brothers, sisters will be daughters, and damned will be your name, a title for abomination.
Whatever comes, whatever the punishment, whatever the sentence or crime, I'll look hell itself in the eye. Abomination I might be, coward will I none.
Can it be true, friend? You took not even a day to arrive?
You must be blessed with the wings of Hermes.
Friends, I'll confess, there was a time when you'd think my father was a winged beast, but I had aid from a beast or two along the way.
Why the rush? Who pushed the speed to thieves?
Love, to tell the truth. That and nothing more.
Love? My Zeus, can a man of your age still love?
Friends, not every love starts with a pretty face.
Mark, friend, can you spare a word?
A word, perhaps, but that's all. I've seen your look before. You demand answers, and I have none for your ears.
Not for our ears, friend? A word with our elders?
We have nothing left to care.
Our backs to the wall.
Our lives are spent.
We are
on
on
the
the
brink.
brink.
Any hope is better than none.
We
We have nothing left to care.
Yoo-hoo,
Friend, wait for us!
You were there the day Laius died.
Yes, your grace. And on your return, you left the city. I returned to the mountain.
Why?
I wanted to go home.
Home!
The only place in Thebes that brought me peace.
Your brother is doing well?
Yes, your grace.
You'd be ashamed to see him lose it all.
Fate's a fickle thing.
Helped by the occasional nudge.
Very fickle.
Quite unkind.
Often cruel.
Your grace, what do you want?
Do I hear cooperation?
Keep it moving. So, friend, hear your story.
Don't worry, friend. We'll reward you kindly. Are we sure about this line of questioning?
What would you suggest?
Will we have time?
Who will care?
Let's bring him to the elders. Come on now.
Where did you go, father?
Into the streets,
Why?
see the truth. To walk among the ruins.
And what did you see?
Horror, steeped in horror, contagion of chaos. I heard the wolves, but all I saw were the people. 2s and 3s, scavenging, stealing, picking corpses.
Surviving, father. Perhaps?
Our daughter has wisdom beyond her years.
Does she? I can't tell what's right, nor for that matter, what is wrong. Surviving another's misery, that's it.
They have no hope, can't you see? Or have you never felt despair?
Once on the road from Delphi,
Once high in the Kithaeron mountain,
I fled Corinth.
I was trying to flee.
Room, poison in my ear.
We'd heard such a horror.
In seeking truth,
To avoid damnation,
I went to the oracle.
the oracle had visited us.
There in Delphi,
Blessed these with a visit,
delivered an awful prophecy.
a dictate from fate.
Woe to you, Oedipus!
Hold off your curses.
For here's a sentence from Apollo.
Laius, your sin will fall on all,
Cursed you are from birth.
and your child will be the weapon.
Deliver such punishment.
For you stole innocence,
And an innocent babe.
and will by birth mete out justice.
Woe to you, Oedipus!
Woe to you, Jocasta.
And so it will pass, a son will be born to the royal house of Laius, a child swaddled in misery, a son that will strike dead the father, lie with his mother. Sons will be brothers, sisters also daughters. Agony upon agony, woe upon woe.
On hearing the horror, I never returned.
Laius kept the prophecy to himself.
I sentenced myself to be in exile,
But as the baby grew, the oracle returned.
never to return to Polymus.
And over my swelling belly
For loving Mother Merope,
was the fate of the babe cast.
I wandered from Delphi.
So it
empty.
was decided
I wandered from Delphi.
that on the birth of the babe,
I walked a path
to avoid more woe,
away from fate.
our child would be dispatched.
Away from toting parents,
As he grew inside my belly,
vowing that I must,
harden my heart.
Cannot ask forgiveness?
on the God so merciful,
I called, no answer.
What did you do?
I struck out for Thebes, and on my way,
No sooner was he born, they tore him from my arms.
I fear it's going to get worse.
on my way, high in the hills, the road grew
It
narrower,
happened so quickly,
a group came the other way.
swifter than I thought.
Arrogant pride on both sides.
I cursed them in the gods. I called out for mercy.
The first rider told me to stand aside.
I was faint, but I went after Laius.
I asked him to do the same.
I pulled myself up and with my maids crying out for me to stop.
He drew, I unarmed.
With a priest or two, they took the boy.
And before I knew it, he was dead. And then another came.
Then, weak from bleeding, I passed out, and when I woke,
Finally, a man who looked, I'll admit, after all these years.
they pinned his ankles and tethered him like a wild animal.
Like a king.
And when I woke, the babe was gone. All that was left. The chain.
I fear that's all we can do is wait.
And are we all agreed that in our judgment you will all heed my decision, whether it pleases you or not? There will be no second thoughts, no interruption, just binding agreement.
Equality and unity.
Allowing business to grow.
Better pay and opportunity.
Everyone has a part to play.
A place in our community.
A place to call their home.
No more of the status quo.
As well as observing certain protocols.
Better job with good pay.
I can see this will be a long day. But yes to all concerns. For now, at least. We must move on to our reason. Our one and only option. For my own dear brother by my sister, I agree. Must be deposed. Hopefully with little or no blood. Now, bring in the first prisoner. And you are? Stoic? A stoic Spartan, perhaps? Or just rude?
I'm of Corinth, man and boy. Thebans! I thought of you as friends.
Well, I'm sorry things got out of hand. Bring in our other friend. Well. It's been some time.
Highness,
When did we last meet?
just after the Sphinx fell.
That's right.
Tell her
And
what you told us.
speak, woman. Speak. Quiet. Can't you see we're busy?
Is it you?
It is you,
I'm sorry. Did I lose the invitation?
Your Grace.
You seem quite familiar.
He mistook me for someone else.
Did he?
Yes, Your Grace.
You know what these Corinthians are like.
Sorry?
I meant
Corinthian.
his look, my lady.
Really? His look, you say? That's a skill you have. He could be a Cretan, a Persian, or a dog from Macedonia. Know him? Yes or no? You, Corinthian, do you know her? Speak, or I'll cut your throat, one after the other.
Many years ago.
Not another word.
Quiet, you creature, or find yourself stretched out like Prometheus.
Up high among the Kithaeron peaks. She had a babe in arms, bleeding. The warmth of each drop as it landed on the ground led to small clouds, such as the breath from our lips. She begged me to take the child far away. So I did. Planned to raise him like one of my own. Not long after, Polybus came to visit. He saw my many children and lamented that he had not a single one. Tears overwhelmed his eyes like a flood. His shoulders heaved, and I thought his whole being would fall right then and there. I told him the story of the child and offered the babe to be his own, and in turn, I would bless both king and heir. And on that matter is why I'm here. Old Polybus has finally died, a shadow of a man for so many years, mourning his lost son.
Enough! Not another word!
Can it be?
Lord, do you forget that we also have a tale?
I'll be amazed if it matches this piece of news.
The priestess was indeed the sole survivor.
What? Oh, yes. Of course.
Perhaps care to hear her tale.
Please?
If I refuse,
It's a little late for that.
Artemis, I call out to you. Lift me from this place. Carry me far across the seas to lie with my sisters. Let me not be led to shame. I've suffered enough. Help me to leave this place of all fools!
Enough! No time for praying or keening to a goddess who's left you long ago. Or is it the other way around? Not too sure as we found you wandering the groves, and for that matter, reeking too much of the vine.
It's too late for divine intervention, old crone. Too late for some holy miracle or intercession, or even a minor Olympian interruption.
It's time to share your tale. Don't hold back. Come on. It was a miracle you escaped the band. It was a determined warlike band, was it not?
It's what you said.
It's what you said.
It's what you said.
Come. What have we become? To harass this old maid, this deity of service, to one of Zeus's daughters? Do we treat the church with such little respect? No better than Trojans. Come, old sister, high priestess, tell your tale.
It's true. I know this Corinthian. We met long ago on a mountain pass. Among the last traces of winter, snow still on the ground. My arm's babe, offered in royal sacrifice. Laius and the priest had brought him to our house. He held the babe with what seemed a fatherly embrace. Tears rushing down his face, but he was like a stone. Impervious to any other form of grief save a sigh, as we took him from his arms and bore the babe away.
Zeus, it can't be true. Could it be so?
After we'd performed the ritual, and when all had retired, I heard Apollo call me back, rescue the babe! Who was I to refuse a god? As I pulled him from his chains, such a cry issued from the babe, I feared the wolves would hear us. So I turned and ran. Babe in arms, I ran into the Corinthian. He offered to help, and with little choice, I gave to him a baby boy. Wounds and babe still weeping.
Enough of the babe. I fear I know the child. What of the death of Laius?
I always thought it was an act of vengeance. Having thought the sacrifice was made, I fear the king filled with his hate. So, one by one, all members of my house disappeared without a trace. Till all that was left, 2 old sisters and I, an aging maid. He was taking
me to Delphi for sacrifice. When on the road, a young man appeared. Words were said, fists made, blows exchanged. Blades appeared, and like every man, death was dealt, till I was left. The man looked at me, and I could swear I knew him. His eyes looked familiar, a pain I recognized.
Just stop! No more. Tell me, how many were there?
One.
But you
It's
said...
obvious, Lord.
Is it?
By the time she returned, Oedipus was already here.
If she'd come any sooner, the Sphinx would have killed her.
I feared he would not let me live twice, so I told you and the queen, and then I fled.
We've got him, have we not, Lord?
Justice is ours.
He was never really one of us.
I wish you were right about that.
Let's go to Oedipus and watch his end!
I fear you won't know quite how far he'll fall.
There must be no joy in his demise. No celebration of forced abdication. Under his authority, did we not all unite and build a shining city on the hill? Envied from state to state, through Greece and all the known world. Did not the gods seem to smile upon us? But now, you circle like vultures around a rotting carcass. We had ideals. We were all united. And now, we're more divided than before. And what of our king? He made mistakes, sure, but which of you is unblemished by sin? Dear gods, what have I done? I fear I've unleashed the hounds of hell. My heart and hopes are broken. With one refrain, one sad, sweet song running through my mind, eternal, hymnal, sorrowful, Oedipus. Oedipus! Oedipus Rex!
No, we never hear a word.
Then forgive me, Lord, for bringing the news.
No, it's sad, of course. But it's hard to explain. I love the old man, and if only I'd sent word to express just how much I missed him, or why I stayed away for all these years.
Who is the stranger?
An old friend from Corinth.
Is everything well?
Sadness and happiness come together.
Sadly, old Olympus has died, and we turn to our Lord here to take his place.
And it seems the curse from Delphi's gone.
Can it be so? That's welcome news indeed.
The gods have spared us, but I fear still there's the other matter.
Over?
I fear it was I who met Laius on the road.
There were bandits. The priestess made that clear.
A horde of bandits according to all.
Priestess of what order?
Artemis.
Her appearance?
Back then, still young to be called a maid.
Then it was I who did the deed.
Why would she lie?
Over, when did she return?
Shortly after you saved the city.
It was a heated moment. Blame on both sides. I accept my part, and I'll pay the price. Will Corinth give us shelter?
You are our king.
Father, Crayon appears before us.
Sister, I'm sorry. My heart is heavy, and I...
Forgive me, Creon. I know who did the crime.
How?
Is that the priestess? Why the chains?
For concealing the fact all these years.
Fear made me act in violence. Fear made me leave my home. Fear forced her into hiding. Fear turned thieves in on itself.
And I fear what I say next.
Aunt, what can you mean?
Sister, heavy is my heart for what I must reveal all these years, to see your quiet agony. And now, I must share such hated news that would crack the heart of the hardest Spartan.
And I fear what I will hear next will damn us all.
Like Atlas shouldered the weight of the world, I will carry this burden, all for love.
Let me tell her, it's all my fault.
Quiet! Words from a stranger, as holy as you are. What good's family if... Oh gods, give me strength!
Creon, there's a crowd coming. For our sake, say it.
Husband,
brother, son, and nephew, 4 in 1. And that, brother, nephew, is what you are. I held you in my arms when you were just a babe.
What?
Can the gods be so cruel? To be cursed when I myself still lay within my mother's womb? Why must I bear the blame for Laius? What was my crime, my part, my sin in this Olympian game of damnation? Apollo, can you be so vile, so poisonous to those who worship you all their lives? Creon, this is a lie, no less, no more. But a scandal to rock our palace in state? Or perhaps this is an honest mistake.
Did you never wonder at the scars on his legs and feet? Did we never wonder that in recent years he looked more like the king you once called dear Laius, dear husband?
I saw the baby on the hill.
The priestess took him and gave him over to the Corinthian that stands in chains.
Is this true? Dear Apollo, why curse me with this fate?
I saw the babe on the hill.
Forgive me, what she says is true.
The wolf came and he was gone.
Forgive me, Oedipus.
I saw the babe on the hill!
Release me, Lord! I never did any harm! I never did any wrong! You told me to come to Thebes!
Creon, let me have the messenger.
Fear, as Oedipus said, caused all this hate. I'll release them both. They never did a crime.
Is it done?
Why are you releasing the prisoners?
They must be rightly punished.
For what you've done today. It's you who should be punished and put in chains.
I protest. We have done nothing but serve the city.
You plotted his downfall, stumbled on crimes. You've led lives to line your own pockets. The people have starved in the street, and when your wealth is threatened, then you act.
Can it be so? Horror on horror, woe on woe. Blood, so much blood, and such violence. I would have thought only the gods could imagine. Oh, Apollo, was this your plan? Has it been this all along? Did Thebes do such wrongs? Had Laius committed such a crime?
What's happened?
See for yourself, my words can't paint the picture. But my blood-stained hands might. Oh, shame. Shame on you! To pile on pressure, to ask questions and plot behind our backs. You forced my parents to such a bloody end.
Antigone, I fear it was indeed our misfortune to find out a past quite unthinkable to all of us.
Indeed our misfortune. Tell that to my dead mother.
Dead?
Hanging above the bed she shared with 2 husbands. The bed that saw 5 children and 1 husband born. Hung by her own hand, her face still streaked with tears, and her mouth open in a cry of such anguish that it will make even the stone-hearted weep for her sake.
Call out the guards, the priests and people. My sister lies silent within the palace walls. May her body be carried to a better place, and may Hades show her mercy in the afterlife. Behold, Thebes, what a walking curse looks like. Observe the weight of a god's fate spun before birth. Look now, and pity our wretched Oedipus.
No pity. I pray. I demand. I ask. I beg. No pity. I'm a wretched man, but I will carry the crime. For I struck when I could have sought mercy. I ignored the signs and did not seek the truth. It was too late. I never cried for mercy till it was too late. Forgive me, Thebes. Forgive me, Creon. Mercy, but no pity.
Dear gods, what happened?
Jocasta barred the door.
We cried for her.
Open the door!
We heard a scream.
I swear I saw the walls shake.
Father broke down the door.
And lo, she swung like a doll hanging before her neck.
My father tried to save her.
I couldn't.
As he tried to lift her body.
Crying, wife, love, mother!
And with that last word,
such an agony.
He pulled away her brooch, prized the pins so they stood tall.
And with one final look, with tears burning and blurring, I
rammed the sharp pins of the brooch into his once so beautiful eyes, slashing, blinding. He sunk below my mother's body, and the tears of blood flowed below the queen as if he was the first offering at her shrine.
Why?
Agony, guilt. But in that moment of agony, I wished to never look upon the world again. To see the agony etched in my children's eyes, pity or revulsion in the eyes of all the world. Antigone, take me from this place. Creon, I cry you mercy.
Go, Oedipus, far beyond our walls, and I fear your travels will never find you peace. Cursed you are by a father's sin and a god's anger.
And my children?
They are of my house, my family, my blood. I never sought revenge, only righteous justice.
Cry, all of Thebes, all of Corinth. Cry, all of Greece, all the world. Cry for the mothers, babes, brothers, and sisters. Cry for the fathers. Cry for all souls. Weep for the world. Let your tears fall for the suffering in life, for every sweet breath, for the humanity we all share, for the love within our hearts. We shed tears for what we could do and the deeds that are done. Fate guides our hands, but we deal the blows. I was cursed, but the gods did not force my hands. For an argument in Corinth, for a skirmish on the roads, for the arrogance within me, for my conceit after the Sphinx, for my passion when I first spied a wife. Howl! 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 The wolves I heard are here again as they were once when I was a babe on a hill long ago.
And so Oedipus walked the world, a bloody symbol of the realms, of gods and men joined together. Fate and action played their part. This cannot be denied nor forgotten. And what price was paid by this union? Antigone, his daughter, ever faithful. How would she know what Creon had in store? These gained its glory only for a whisper.
And the thread of history along the empires now faded into the dust of distant memory.
And now, on the verge of tomorrow, we stand and say, how many more tears must be shed?
How long must we hear the cries of pain? The weeping mothers over slain sons. Cries of hatred and division. The ignorance of pride and the corruption of faith. How many famines? How many wars? How many more people to perish, cities to fall? And still we hope. Still we pray. Still we cry out. We must cry out.